Most couples don't make it past 5 years. Most businesses don't make it past 2. My wife and I have been together for 29 years. And this month, our business just hit 19 years as well. And no, it's not luck, and it's definitely not perfect. But it's built on something stronger. And today we're gonna show you exactly what that is through the only language we know, the gym language. Alrighty, welcome to the Pure Motivation Podcast Show. My name is Coach Dimitri, and today we are joined by a special person, a beautiful person, and my wife, Francesca.
Thank you. What an intro.
There you go.
So lucky.
I can keep going on forever, but I had to make it short. So we always tackle different topics on the show. As you know, I always try to tackle the 5 M's to mastery. And that's your mindset, your mission. We're talking about muscle. We talk about macros, and we talk about marriage. And today, what better place, what better setting to have my partner, my business partner, my best friend, and the person I love be here to help you guys out. Now, before we begin getting into this actual podcast episode, we want to make sure that you guys understand what we're doing here. And today we want to make sure we give back and teach you 10 gym rules that built our 29-year relationship together and 19 years in business. And we've taken concepts from the gym, and we're going to explain them to you so you can understand them because they're important in the gym, but they blend in, they mesh with your marriage. Our business is 19 years this month, March 31st, Pure Motivation Fitness, and we've been married for 19 years, but we met 29 years ago. And to sum it up for you, I'll bring it back to you. I don't remember what month it was. Do you remember the month?
Of what?
When we met? Yeah, when we met.
Oh, when we met. I know that it was after we both graduated from high school. It's like the end of the summer.
End of the summer.
Yeah.
So I just got my car. I bought my, Chevrolet Z24. I'm like, I'm the man. So I drove to the club by myself. I got in. I met with my boys. But as I'm walking through the aisles, I see this beautiful goddess with her baby blue eyes just shining at me, this curly hair like a lion's mane. She was wearing these black, shiny, they were like...
they were navy.
They were navy. Okay, in my eyes, they were black and shiny.
Navy blue.
A navy blue. Pleather, shiny pants, very tight. And she had a short top on. But what was weird was, as I'm going through in the nightclub to look for my brother and his buddies, we kind of stopped, saw each other, and I'm like, hi, how are you? My name's Dimitri, nice to meet you. And we held hands for like 3-4 minutes. Now, I don't know if it's because she was tipsy. And maybe she's just like, okay, who is this guy? But we started talking, and I'm like, listen, I really want to spend time with you. I'm going to be back in a second. I'm just going to go find my friends. What happened next? I lost her. Well, couldn't find you.
I went to the bathroom.
Well, she went to the bathroom. When she came back, I couldn't find her. So I'm searching the whole evening. I'm searching the club, the DJ booth, everywhere. I couldn't find her. And I'm like, damn, you know what? Maybe it wasn't meant to be. So something said, hey, Dimitri, you had a lot of alcohol. Go to the bathroom. It's time to recharge. And as I'm approaching the bathroom, I see this goddess coming out. And I'm like, hold on a second. Stop. I need to get your number. I want to call you again. And then if you sum that up, 29 years later, we're over here.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Did I miss anything?
No.
All right. All right. On our first date going out, that's a little funny story. And I'm telling you this because I want everyone watching who's not married to believe in marriage and to believe in the fact that there is someone out there that you can spend the rest of your life with. And I also want to make sure that those who are in marriages like us, who have businesses, who have kids, who are dealing with taking care of a parent, who are dealing with stresses, we want to give you guys that lifeline to say, you know what, it's possible. Don't look at social media. Don't look at the surrounding trends in marriages. Don't look at the statistics in terms of 55% of people get divorced. We want to give you guys hope and also some tips that we've literally meshed together, Francesca and I, that have to come from the gym. They stem from the gym, right?
And don't be afraid to go out and meet people in person.
Yeah. Because
nowadays it's a little tricky. Everything's online. So it's a little...
I think that's the biggest problem.
Yes. But don't be afraid to go to a gym and meet someone, a coffee shop.
Right.
If you see someone who's walking into a place and you see them often, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to approach that person and strike a conversation.
Today's generation and today's society would rather text you or message you on an app or something, which I think is just isn't the right way. But let's begin this episode and watch how amazing this is going to be, okay? So we'll go for the first one. I'm going to explain to you the gym concept of it, and then Francesca's going to go through the marriage part of it, and we'll just pop in here. But number one, okay, 10 gym rules that built our 29-year relationship and our business and our marriage for 19 years. Number one rule of a strong relationship is progressive overload equals long-term growth. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we all know that in the gym, if you want to get gains, you need to have progressive overload. So you need to be training in a gradual increase where you stress the body, you place load on the body, and I'm stimulating muscle growth and endurance and strength, but every week I'm adding a little bit of weight. You don't go into a gym and looking for a six-pack in day one. It just doesn't happen, right? And it's the same with your marriage.
Takes time.
Takes time. So in the gym, you grow by slowly adding weight. You grow by slowly adding more repetitions and difficulty over time, right? And when you're pushing beyond, you want to jump in here?
Well, I wanted to say, as a society, don't you think now, like, people just want to see like everything fast, like fast results?
Yes.
Fast,
I think people don't have the patience.
And also, like, I know from speaking to, some younger ladies out there, they're also in a rush, to try to find that person.
Right.
And it's like, it takes time to really get to know that person.
Right. Especially when there's so much fakeness out there.
You can't think like after 5 months, oh, I've been dating this person for 5 months, I'm thinking of marriage. Like,
right. It's too short.
We were together before marriage for 4 years.
4 years, which was one of the best things to do. And then we lived together, which was the best thing to do because you really get to see what your man or woman's like, right?
Just like the gym, like Dimitri's saying, you're not going to see results in 1, 2, 3, like few months. You really need to put in the work and stay consistent.
So how I'm going to mix that in with marriage is simple. You need small efforts like listening, right? You need to check in with your partner. You need to be present, and that adds up, right? You won't arrive at the perfect marriage, and you need to grow into it together. And as much as someone will say, when you're looking to meet someone, you want to find that fairy tale person with everything you really want. Yes, we want to have that. But sometimes the fairy tale grows and blossoms because you grow through things together and you get past challenges together. So it's not just going to be based on, you look at someone, you think they're beautiful, great, that has to be there. But you need to look at a slight progressive overload in your marriage where it's slow. You build up on it. And you build on that. Number two, we're talking about you have to rest to recover, okay? So recovery days allow your muscles to heal. They allow your body to work on repairing broken down actin and myosin fibers. It lets your immune system get stronger, and it prevents overtraining and injury, okay? So in the gym, you gotta rest. But guess what? Rest days are needed in marriages too. They actually save marriages, okay?
Well, taking a break also from one another is also helpful because as much as you want to, and we've said this before, and I think in another session that we had me do, that couples who train together stay together.
100%.
But it's also important to get that alone time, have that workout time on your own, just like you need alone time at home to, just relax, unwind, do your own thing. Your partner doesn't have to be by your side all the time. It's okay if they're off doing their own thing. You need that mental space.
So you need personal space, right?
For sure.
Awesome. And sometimes in relationships that are young, we're like hardcore veterans here, almost hitting 30 years with 2 kids and a business. We know that sometimes there are times where you need to be clingy and you need to be together because one person needs each other. But then there's also times where you need to take breaks, especially from conflict. And when there's conflict, I know me and you have conflict.
I think if there's one piece of advice I would give younger couples out there is that, in the beginning, you do always want that time together all the time. Everything that you do has to be together, visiting your family together, going out with friends together, movies together. I think I would just tell our younger selves.
Have a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, if I'm going to go one weekend to go see my family and you're not going to be there. It's okay.
Or if you want to go out with your friends for something.
I still love you. I still care about you, you know.
Don't take it personally.
I think like as we've gotten mature and older, we're totally
now we're like, get away, stay away from me.
Now we're like, okay, if I don't see you for a few days, it's all good.
All right, next page here, we're talking number 3, spotting each other in the gym. Okay, so you need to have a spotter. When you want to lift heavy weights, when you want to get stronger, when you want to improve your weights, I always ask for spotters all the time. And spotting, for anyone who doesn't know, is basically when someone is providing assistance for you. If I'm on the squat rack, if I'm on the bench press, if I'm doing a shoulder press and I can't go anymore, someone's going to grab my elbows and give me a little bit more of that assistance. So a good spotter will help you get stronger and train safely in the gym. And they'll jump in when things get shaky and, you know, and not after it's too late. So you want to make sure that you have that understanding in the gym. Well, in a marriage, being a partner, in my eyes, means noticing when the other one's struggling, right? If you're really, really good as a partner and you're going through a good phase or a month in your life, and you know that someone else is struggling in the marriage, you need to be able to stop, slow down, and give that help to the other person.
For sure. Like I can recognize when he's having a tough day and he's stressed out. I know not to be like, okay, I'm not going to give him now my list of things that we're like, okay, we need to get all of this done tomorrow at work, or
you didn't put the garbage out, you didn't do this, you didn't do that.
So know and learn how to recognize that when someone's having a tough day, that sometimes they just want to hug and they just want to be like, listen, it's going to be okay. And we're going to go through each thing that needs to get done, one thing at a time. And there's no reason to be stressed out. I always remind him of that, because whatever problems are here today, they will be here again tomorrow.
So there's no need. She keeps saying to me, when you're stressed out, when you wake up in the morning, it's still going to be there. So why are you going to stress out over now? Yeah. And that's why it's about lifting each other up emotionally. And a spotter in the gym is going to do that to help you physically. But when you lift someone up emotionally, you help them get stronger. And again, we're not perfect. But if you think of the metaphors and the analogies we're giving you today, they're so gym related and they so fit your marriage that we say, you know what? We have to tell you these things. Number 4, okay, we're talking about form, technique. We're talking about ego lifting, okay? And what is that? Well, proper form is essential for, lifting and contracting your body and doing the proper movements. And if you do them properly, you won't get injured. And if you do them properly, you'll get results over the long time. And ego typically is where you get sacrificing. Ego is typically where you are exchanging quality for show. So focus on the form, not flexing for others. The one thing I want to tell couples is looking perfect, having that perfect persona on social media, it doesn't matter and it's not real. There's so many people that I meet that say, you know what? Wow, man, you guys have been married for so long and I see you in pictures and you guys look perfect. And, I'm in my 20s and I'm like, brother, marriage is not perfect. Marriage is like a business. Marriage is going to have times that are good and bad. And there's going to be seasons of a marriage. But if you don't sit back and say, you know what, real progress comes from proper technique in the gym. Well, real progress in your marriage comes from going through not having an ego, especially if you're in a fight. You want to elaborate on this? Because I know that when there's a fight going on, if someone's got an ego and they don't want to give in, then what happens?
Yes. And again, going back to like when we were younger to now, when you're younger, you're always wanting to win that fight. No, you only look at your point of view and you want to just roll with that. So you're always like, well, I'm right. I don't think they're right. So why isn't he listening to me? And vice versa. Why isn't she listening to me? So it's about, being right when you're young. But I feel as you mature with your relationship and you're with that partner for a long period of time, you just realize that you need to realize to take a step back and what is that person trying to tell you, and try to listen more. And I think we've been doing more of that
100%
as we've gotten older in our relationship. So just absorb what that person is saying. Don't just react right away. Absorb it, take it away, maybe go for a little walk. If they're downstairs and, you're kind of heated up with the argument, go upstairs and just have a moment and think about it and breathe.
A therapist that was a member of mine at the club, I would always ask her questions in terms of, because we have members everywhere, divorced, getting married, going through breakies, and as a breaking positions. And as a coach, when you're training people, you hear so much. You're like a shrink, you're like a hairdresser, and you constantly hear people telling the stories. And what she said to me once was, whenever you're in an argument or whenever couples are in an argument, one person should say, tell me more. And what that means is, if your spouse is mad at you and they're saying something and you're absorbing it, the person absorbing it shouldn't sit there and try to retaliate. They should say, tell me more, explain what. Then the person's gonna explain more in detail. And then say, can you tell me any more? Is there anything else you wanna let me know? You're giving that person the ability to embrace what they really wanna feel for you and say for you. You're not cutting them off. And I know when we first got together, my wife's a Capricorn, I'm a Taurus, and we lock horns all the time. And I always wanted to be right no matter what, because I'm a Taurus, and and this is me, and my wife had her views. But as we got older, we started going and listening and saying, tell me more. Like, why is this bugging you for? Okay, I know you told me that you don't want me doing this, or you don't want me saying that, but why? And then when you actually hear more, you can siphon out what's important for your spouse. Because remember, at the end of the day, a marriage is something that you chose to do, right? Unless you had an arranged marriage. And if you chose to marry someone and you have kids, well, it's your responsibility as a parent to not only take care of your health and fitness, which is a talk show on its own, but it's your responsibility to work with the person that you agreed to marry and find a solid common ground. You got to compromise to get there, right? Next point, ready? Number 5. You don't always feel like showing up, okay? And what I mean by that, what you do is, discipline is what keeps you consistent, especially when training and motivation slowly start to fade away. Showing up is often more important than crushing it. And a lot of people, when it comes to the gym, some days you're hyped up to work out, some days you're dragging your feet, you don't want to do it. In a marriage, in my eyes, you're not always going to feel like 100%.
Or if you're just having a bad day from maybe work and you're bringing it home, and then that will affect also your relationship. It's
like also saying, you know what? I love you, hon. You look beautiful today. You don't have to say that. But by doing it, you're embracing. But you don't have to work out every day. But if you wake up and go to the gym, put a little bit of effort in, it keeps building up on things, right?
For sure.
Next, we're going to go into topic number 6, which is leg day. Conflict resolution. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, nobody likes training legs. Legs is the most difficult body part to train. It's hard. It's the biggest muscle groups. It's often avoided, and it's when the deepest growth happens, right?
And then you can't walk for 3 days.
And you can't walk for 3 days. And my wife's like, really? Like, it's been 30 years and you're still at this thing? When you're older, you're going to hear, great, great, great. But you can't skip legs and expect, full body results. You need to push through discomfort sometimes. You need to get through stuff to get real results. And I think in a marriage, think of legs as facing hard conversations, right? Head on.
Facing hard issues.
Hard issues, hard conversations. Now, this could be a multitude of things. Not wanting to go to the gym to do legs, or even not wanting to go to the gym to see your trainer or to do a class is something that you know that you have to do, but it's going to be difficult. Just like looking at your partner and saying, hey, we need to look at our finances and we need to stop either going traveling or buying certain things. And again, it's like leg day. You got to show up for it, right? Yes. And I think in a marriage, where a lot of marriages crumble is when you pass that 5 to 10 year mark. Like, this is where you look back and you're like, holy crap, a decade went by. Mm-hmm. So am I really going to be with this person or not? And that's where, when you have fights, you have conflicts, when you have issues, you sometimes avoid issues, right? And when you avoid issues, what does it do? It weakens your foundation.
So you can't avoid legs.
You can't avoid legs, just like you can't avoid when you come home and you know you had a great day and your wife's going to give it to you because you didn't take out the garbage, you didn't cut the grass like she asked you to 3 weeks in advance. My wife, on my whiteboard at home, where I put all my business accomplishing goals, she'll come in there and she'll rub out something and put, cut the grass, throw this out. And I'm like, I come home to a list of items. But again, it's that communication. It's the fact that she's better at me than some things, and I'm better at her than some things. And when you communicate as a relationship and as a couple, you need to drop your ego and say, you know what? If I don't have someone like her telling me to do this all the time, it won't get done.
But you know what? It's important that on that whiteboard, when I do write down things that he needs to get done, that once in a while, he also gets a message from me saying how much I love him.
Oh, yes. She will always put that message at the bottom of it. And then I'll have to send her one too, right? Next, number 7, deload weeks are necessary. What is a deload week? Do you know what a deload week is? Okay, perfect. A deload week is when you have planned reduction in training intensities to allow for recovery, mentally, physically. So when you're looking at a deload week, you need to have the last week of every month or the last 2 weeks of every 8-week phase where you drop the weight, bro. You go lighter. You can't train as hard. CrossFit athletes, they go so hard, and then what happens? They get injured. So a deload week is going to make sure that it's planned. You can't max out every week. So you can't really, sometimes you need to scale to grow, right? You got to scale back to grow. If you constantly overtrain your body, it's difficult for your nervous system to understand of a new shock. It's difficult for your joints to constantly take that load. It's also not the best because you're going to plateau, and plateauing is going to mentally throw you back. But remember this, in a marriage, not every week needs to have deep talks and intense connections, right? Some weeks will be really intense. Mm-hmm. Some weeks won't be intense.
Some weeks you'll go out for dates, date nights. Right. And some weeks you won't. You're just taking the kids to practices and you're apart from each other and everyone's doing their own thing. But that's okay.
So quiet, restful sessions help. I think they help love breathe and grow. All right, number 8, we're talking about warm-ups. You know, before you train, you warm up your body. Why? You want to prevent injury. Why? Because you want to prepare the muscles, the joints, the mind for a heavier workload, right? You don't just jump into a heavy set. You got to have some tough conversations. So when you are in a marriage, you lead into important tasks with love and softness. Think of when you want to ask something, when you want to break a style of routine in your marriage, when you want to talk to your wife about something that's bugging you, you don't just go in like you're doing 4 sets of squats. Hun, I don't like your friend. I think she's horrible and I don't want you hanging out with her. Can't do that. You slowly warm in with it. And with couples, they feel sometimes that speaking your mind is the right way to go. But how are you going to feel if I come at you hard and I tell you something that I don't like right away?
Yeah, not good at all. The tone is so important. So it's so important to approach that person with a nice, calming tone so that they can hear what you're trying to tell them.
And what's my biggest problem whenever we talk? My tone.
Sometimes it is his tone. Yes. He just comes always across, as you guys have always seen him, loud in your face, you know.
And that's not the best way because
I've learned like over the years, like it used to bug me before when I was younger, but now it's just like, if I see he's like that, I'll just look at him and just walk away. I'll just take the laundry upstairs and tell him like, I'll talk to you when you're in a better mood and you've calmed down.
Number 9, we're talking about balance or burnout. Okay. Now, effective training, effective programming, balance components, you got to have strength. You got to have mobility. You got to have cardio. You need rest days. You need to have some kind of balance or you burn out.
Variety of things.
Variety. Also like lifting weights. If you do too much cardio, you lose strength. If you only do weights, you get really tight and you have no mobility. So balance is important. Now, in a marriage, I think balance is important because you have a lot of different principles that are taking away from you. And you got to remember one thing. You need to make sure that you don't rely on balance, but you rely on standards. One of my standards is, sitting down, holding my wife for 10 minutes or my kids. And this is an important standard because it's shown in studies in science that if you literally sit with your partner and your arm is touching their arm, that brings a bond much closer with any relationship. So if you don't balance, you burn out. And remember, you can't pour from an empty cup, especially or just one. You have to have that proper ability. And then lastly, number 10, we're talking about switching up your routine, right? You don't want to do chest and back every day for 6 months. You don't want to do cardio every day for 6 months. Your body adapts to repeated stress. And switching up your training will keep things interesting. And it'll also keep it effective and engaging. Your body adapts, and so does your marriage. I think new experiences keep things exciting.
For sure, yeah.
But doing new things, doing new hobbies together, surprising.
Like if you guys, your date night is always going out for dinner, or it's always going out to a movie, it's going to get a little bit boring after, a few months, few years of doing the same thing. So for sure, like mixing it up and trying new things, like going for dancing lessons,
yes,
going for horseback riding.
Also, I would think another cool thing to do, switching it up, is for you guys to take turns. And we did this many, many times where you don't leave the pressure to one person. So it's not fair for the woman to say to the man, well, if I'm the wife, you got to wine and dine me and you got to surprise me. Because you know what? That's pressure. And that's like, if I'm going to relate to a gym scenario, that's like you training with a training buddy. He's never helping you.
And I think also like leaving the expectation to one person alone, like you said, puts a lot of
too much pressure. I don't like that.
It's not fair. It's not fair for you to, and then you also might get disappointed. That person is trying their best, but they might not be creative. So they need you to step in and be like, why don't we do this? And then, back and forth, you'll have better ideas.
Give us a last tip, Francesca, that everyone can use if they're leaving here, something that you feel has been helpful, or something that you feel over the 29 years of being married to a freak like me who does not stop working, who does not stop talking about fitness. Give us a tip that you feel would be your if you have to sum up one tip.
I think with whichever partner you're with, it's so important. And as parents, I think we do this with our children. Let your partner express himself the way he wants to, and don't hold him back from what they want to do. So Dimitri's on camera all the time. He loves doing what he does. He loves showing his fitness tips. His boss, sometimes women are like, oh my God, don't you get jealous, But I don't, because I'm confident. I know that he loves me, and I support him in everything that he does. And I think that's so important. It's so important that if you're with someone, you don't hold them back from what they want to do, and just support them if you love them. And it's the same thing if you're a parent with your children, you're going to support them, right? If they want to be a hockey player or a soccer player or a basketball player. So why not with your partner? So I think that's important.
If there's anything we can leave you guys on, is the fact that a marriage is the most beautiful thing that can happen. Now, there are some people that meet the wrong person. And one of my mentors, Bedros Koulian, says the most important decision a man, not a woman, but a man can make in his life is the person he marries. Because the person you marry will either help you or hurt you. And I hope you can really pass this on. Yes. Give us a like, send us a comment, the same things. But I want to learn more about what you thought. And I would love to get your thoughts on this from two aspects. One, from all of you who are married, who are watching this, give me your comment. And for all of those single bachelors out there, men and women, let me know what you took as your takeaway. And I'll leave you with this. The grass is always greener on the side you water it more, okay? It's not the grass is green on the other side, it's where you water it more. My name is Coach Dimitri. This is Coach Francesca today. We're giving you the tips on marriage. Stay tuned for more episodes. And remember, average is the enemy. Action beats anxiety, and your attitude is everything. See you on the next one. Peace out.
Bye, guys.